Babe, I'm going live, okay? So don't pop out. Okay. Only your head. Okay? Oh, I'm live, baby. I'm live. I told you that. Hmm? Probably like an hour or an hour and 30. That's fine.
That's a big bet. When your one source of income is Destiny.
Yeah.
So obviously a lot of tech companies had this big boom during COVID, and a lot of them, for some reason, all of them had the same idea of hiring like hundreds of people and going all in and going crazy, expecting this to continue, when that has not been. They were making a game called Payback, which was going to be set in the Destiny universe, which is like a third-person action adventure game. We know that they were making a game called Matter, which doesn't exist anymore. So I'm like, we know of at least like what 5 games that they were trying to do all at once. And I'm like, that's a big bet. When your one source of income is Destiny.
Yeah.
So obviously a lot of tech companies had this big boom during COVID, and a lot of them, for some reason, all of them had the same idea of hiring like hundreds of people and going all in and going crazy, expecting this to continue, when that has not been the case. So instead of being like, yeah, you know, we'll hire some new people, we'll move some of our like OGs to start working on Marathon, wait to get it out so it's making money for itself, and then working on another project, they were just like, we're going to work on 5+ projects all at once. And it kind of makes me wonder if that was being done to sell to Sony, right? Of like, look, we're literally making 5 live service games right now, and then we're also going to work with your other studios on more live service games. It's a huge mess, and yeah, ultimately it's the CEO's job to put this together, and if it does not go well, then it falls on his head. But so far it has not.
Well, he
As it always goes.
He needs to
You're-
get his ass beat.
You're making bets with people's lives, and this happens all the time, right?
Like on Twitter, I'm like, honestly, like I've seen this one woman who said that she got laid off the day before she was going to be on maternity leave. I'm like, sometimes some of this type of shit is like, it's borderline evil. Like, I'm like, someone need to beat your ass for that shit. Like,
that's what happened to my wife, bro. That's what happened to my wife in 1 second.
Your ass need to get beat, bro, for that type of shit.
She was saying like, if the baby, because they have 3 months of healthcare and all that stuff. But she was saying, if I had my kid now, if the baby was here, I would have coverage for the baby. But it doesn't. You don't have it for maternity stuff. No.
Shit, so trash, bro.
So Destiny,
it's awful.
Destiny dead? Is that
so I don't think it's dead. So here's what they're planning on doing. They're planning on doing like smaller content drops every 6 months. They're gonna have, you played Into the Light, right? Where it was like Onslaught, which is like a horde mode, was kind of added with a bunch of weapons, and then they also added Pantheon, which is like basically you just fight raid bosses one after the other, and you get a bunch of loot from that. So they're going to be bringing out that content for free, and that's going to be like a frequent thing that they do, and also updating their core playlists like Crucible and Strikes and stuff. And then they're going to have they're still going to have campaigns, but it's going to be on a much smaller scale. So there's still going to be raids, there's still going to be dungeons, there's still going to be destinations. It's just going to be on a smaller scale. So
are we effectively saying expansions are cooked, basically? Like
pretty much, yeah. They're calling them like content packs more than
same thing Halo
expansions.
Infinite's doing, basically.
Similar, yeah.
That's crazy because they really
depends if it's good.
One of the best things they ever did.
They did. It's so good.
I even said, I was like, bro, yo, the future is bright. I can't believe it. I gotta redo the whole ending of the whole video was like, oh, the future looks great. For the first time, I feel like the franchise is now at
People are
very
so.
amazed for it could be anything.
This is
and now-
Destiny. We're so back. It's over.
was
We're
like,
so
we're
back. It's
back,
over.
it's
We're so
over.
back. It's over. That's Destiny's
We're
history.
done,
It's
over,
it's a
man.
mess. So.
Yeah.
I've seen some devs that are still there who are like, you know, I have faith in my team and I have faith in the devs that are there. It's just whether the leadership can listen to those developers and let them do what they need to do to make the game good. Because they've made good content like Menagerie, right?
I just can't understand how this has happened for so long. Because I feel like like that, what you just said, like leadership. Like I can't tell you how much I think back of when Destiny 1 came out, right? And people were upset about how D1 came out. And what was I remember the articles, like Jason Schreier put an article out, and then it repeated with D2. It seems to me that's the problem every single time. And I can't remember if it was like an ex Bungie dev that put it on Twitter, and I was like, I think I'm starting to see the picture here. It seems like they would always try to like, this is the like, you know, when Bungie left Microsoft, you know, we had issues with Microsoft. We had issues with, the reason why things went bad was because of Activision. The reason why was like all these excuses are like they're dying, and now you have the truth of when are we just gonna admit? And it seems to be a pattern now that like I saw a consistency of leadership. Like the reason why D2 got rebooted, leadership. Why did D1 get rebooted at the end? Leadership. And it's like, this is now a reoccurring thing. And I don't know if it's been like Bungie has had leadership changing throughout. I'm assuming like D1's leadership was different from D2's.
No, it was the same.
Is it the same? So it's like,
it stayed the same, which makes it worse actually.
So these bums just gotta leave. So these bums gotta go. That's what it sounds like. It sounds
and
like
some of them have gone. I think some of the like, I'm not, so Luke Smith and Mark Noseworthy, they're like really good devs. I think the reason that they're gone, they weren't laid off. It was more so that all the projects that they were working on, which was Destiny universe stuff, but not Destiny 2, it all got canned. Like TV show, Payback, like all of that stuff is, so it's like you can't, if they can't find a role to put them into, you can't just put them into like a lower role. So yeah, it's something that I've heard consistently from devs that have left or been laid off or whatever, where they're like, leadership just doesn't let us do what we know is good for the game. And they let them do it with Final Shape because they're like, this needs to be really good. What do you think we need to do? And look at what happened.
You got a 90 something on Metacritic. Something that doesn't
it was like,
knows how long.
This
is what frustrates me so much about all this shit. I just want to strangle the cause behind what causes people's brains to not do the logical thing of why are we not listening to the damn people that know that are you hired to do the thing? You
hired them to do the job, and then you're like, I got this.
And then you deter them by, you know what? I played Dark Souls over this weekend and I really liked it. Can we can we turn Destiny into an open world game with parries and stuff? And
don't underestimate. It is because you're not thinking outside yourself. Almost a year into, like right before G4 shut down, I had a skit. I wrote the whole thing, and it premiered on a show that we did on X-Play, and it was on the front page of Twitch. It was like 20,000 people, and I'll never forget that day because that was one of my favorite days at G4. I wrote everything. Nobody helped me, no producers, anything. Because I was like, the issue I was having, they were writing stuff for me, but it wasn't me. I was like, y'all gotta get the fuck out of my way. So I did the whole thing. It was like a 15-minute video. Everybody in the chat was laughing. So I felt like Michael Jordan coming out the studio. Everybody was dapping me up. The vice president says, he's like, I didn't know you're a really funny guy. And I remember looking at him like,
is that not why I'm here?
I was like, should I be fucking offended, bro? So like, you'd be surprised. Like, people bring you on board and they think they know what's best for you. It's just, it's some people's personalities, I guess, because they were so successful in their own life. They feel like they know what to do, what's best for you.
I think that's where a lot of it comes from, to be honest. I think it's like an ego thing. Of I know what's best, you know, I made Destiny 1 what it is, or I made this, or I made Halo, whatever, because there's Halo people there, and it's a kind of an ego thing, potentially. I don't know.
It's such a terrible mindset, because when I worked on
it is
a couple things, one company that I used to work with, fuck them, but one thing they did give insight to that I thought was really good is they said, you should always listen to the people that you brought on with fresh eyes, because they're going to notice things about your process that you have just been so entwined with doing for so long. It's become a part of your routine that you just thought was normal. And
it's like when your English teacher would read over your paper and you see it come back with all the marks. I didn't even see those spelling. Yeah, it's the same shit.
You'd be like, why are y'all doing this? Like, this seems kind of stupid. And you're just like, well, I mean, we've just always done it. And then you realize, oh my God, we went through a cycle because we didn't, no one from a fresh perspective looked at this and realized, oh my God, we could have been doing something a lot easier, a lot better. And that's just like that with video games. And yeah, it blows my mind. At least like my experience has always been like developing has been, I don't know everything. I'll try to learn and find out, or I'll find the people that do know how to do that, because I don't know how to do that. But I learn off of them, and I've learned so much over the years. And it frustrates me that unfortunately there are people out there that just think, oh, well, I got one banger, so I know everything. And gaming, we just talked about it, right? Like gaming during, like saying, oh, I made Gears of War, or I made, Halo what it was back in the day on the 360. That's not equivalent to what the marketplace is like, what gamers want today. It's not the same. So it's just fucking frustrating.
I hope they get it together. I would hate for anything bad to see. Like it's been enough layoffs. It's been enough studios shutting down. I don't want to see anything get worse. So I hope they figure this situation out.
I hope they do. Like, Bungie has such an incredible collection of developers. Like, they are ahead of a lot of companies in the industry in like world design, music, gunplay, game feel. Like, they have incredible people together, and I would hate to see them all be gone. And this is the thing that like really makes me mad is there's going to be a lot of those 220 people who now don't have a job that they're like, I don't want to continue in the gaming industry. This is too unstable for me. I'm going to go somewhere else. And that's a lot of talent that you're losing out on because someone took a bet and it didn't work out. And now you don't have a job.
Fuck CEOs.
Yeah.
I hope Marathon's good. Dear God, please.
Oh, funny you mentioned that. So there was an article.
So content creators got to become early and on time.
And yeah.
Freaking hopefully they get it together. Let's switch over to something more positive. NBA Street, very popular franchise. It spawned some spinoffs, NFL Street as well as FIFA Street. But fun fact, a lot of times people talk about this, like in my chat, they need to be back Street, they need to be like Def Jam, and I have to always bring up the sales. Like these games never sold well. Like they were very important to us, but they never sold well. Like NBA Street, when I checked the other day, it sold like total like 2.5 million copies. Which the way people talk about it, you would think it's a cult classic, but it's not like an overall a lot of people didn't play this game. Anyways, a lot of people have been asking for it to come back, and apparently some former EA developers have put together a new studio, and they're working on a spiritual successor called Got Next, and it will be a 3v3 street basketball game releasing in 2025. It'll have crossplay and cross progression, unique characters with strengths, weaknesses, and attributes, and is being developed in Unreal Engine 5. They got a quick little teaser trailer, but it doesn't really show much. It's coming to PS5, Xbox Series, and Steam. What do you feel like they need to do for this to be a success, Jay?
I mean, I think that if they have the same core gameplay elements, I think that'll be a good step there. But I think the main thing is people are going to want some of those nostalgic real NBA players. So I'm hoping that in some form or fashion they can get an NBA licensing deal so that they can add those people in there. And I mean, it doesn't even need to be recent NBA players. Like it can be legendary NBA players. Like it just some form of NBA in there would end up bringing this back to the old days of NBA Street. If they don't, then I think that a lot of people, they may try it out, but I don't think they will stick with it. I think you still do need those NBA elements, because I mean NBA Street had those those street ball legends, so it wasn't just NBA players, and those are the people that we do remember, but you still need that actual NBA IP in there.
I disagree. I halfway agree. What I mean is I feel like when I think of NBA Street, like I think more so of like Bonafide and like Stretch. I think of those street.
I think
legends.
of Hot Sauce.
Yeah, I think of like those characters you played against in the story mode. I will say,
the short guy who's 6'1".
I will say without the NBA license, I do think they're fighting an uphill battle. But I'm not gonna say they're down for the count. What I will say is if they can't secure an NBA license, they're really gonna have to whatever money they have left over, they're gonna have to make a push to get like content creators to try it. Because if the gameplay is fire, if it's genuinely fun to play, they have their own Street Legends, like a story mode where you can create your own character, you can play online. It can stand on its own too, but they're gonna have to make a correct marketing push. But I would say if it would help if it had NBA players. Definitely, it would practically sell itself. What do you think, Watts?
I loved NBA Street. And I kind of loved everything about it. One, I love that there's less rules than like an NBA game. Like, I remember going and playing official NBA games. I'm like, what are these rules, man? I'm breaking all the rules constantly. Yeah, I loved it. I loved the music. Every time I think of
B-Rock,
reminisce.
That's why I learned the song.
Yeah, the music was so good and makes me so nostalgic for it. I played a lot in there. The customization, like all getting to know street basketball players was really cool because I think a lot of people didn't have a lot of access to them, especially internationally, and you got to know about them and their history and who they are. I loved it, man. I loved the gameplay elements. It was just really, really fun. You got to listen to some really good music, play a fun game. And I hope they can recapture that. I think it's more so for me, it's about recapturing the vibe of the game, like the personality of the game. It's got to have the same kind of personality. I don't want it to be void of all of the stuff that made me love it. So I hope they can do it. I will definitely give it a try. Absolutely. I loved that game.
I know you're not a big sports fan, Ethos, but were you a fan of Street? You care about this?
Everyone loves Street.
He's all black.
All right, buddy. You're canceled.
That was the ultimate DEI game back in the day. No, I loved it. It holds a place in my heart. Some of the like the background games, sport games, like background baseball, backyard baseball, Pablo Sanchez, like I always had like a affinity to those type of like kind of
I love those
arcadey type sports games instead of the ones trying to push like realism.
Same with the racing games.
Exactly. Like I was like a big fan of Nicktoon Racing with the kid and sort of stuff. So like I'm looking forward to it. I'll check it out. We had like stuff like Jet Set Radio that's coming back. So maybe this is like maybe a resurgence of going back to those older catalog, like cartoon, arcadey games and maybe trying to either make spiritual successors or rebirth them. I know Sega's doing that right now. So I'm excited.
Games that are just fun to play. Like you're not trying to achieve anything. You're just having a good time with the game.
Yeah, it's bringing the fun back. If they can't get NBA licenses, maybe they can secure the AM1 folks. I'll
yes.
that too.
WNBA. I learned about Diana. I learned about Diana Taurasi from Home Court. She was in that.
WNBA can work too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's NBA, so this is.
Yeah, you're right. They are a subsidiary.
So.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm rooting for the game. Bring back just silly fun games.
Definitely.
That's the positive. The way I set up the notes is like I was trying not to because it was like it was a good combination of positive and negative. It's a roller coaster. So we're going back negative, baby. We're going back negative after the positive. We've got a conclusion to Assassin's Creed Shadows drama for those that have not been in the know, who've been living under a rock. Because this is a great conclusion. We need this. So
it is positive news.
Yeah, it technically is positive, depending on where you stand on this issue. So for those unaware, since Shadows got first announced, Yasuke, the Black Samurai, it's been a strong debate on whether or not he was a samurai or he just carried swords for Nobunaga, which has some racist undertones on it. But anyways, what's the name? Ubisoft put out this whole statement, was like, it's kind of like this half-ass apology, but really they were kind of like, we're still gonna do it. I don't know why they did it. They made it worse. They kind of made it seem almost halfway validated the people's talking points, even though I don't think they made any valid talking points because a lot of historians have came out and said he was a samurai. But a lot of people in America seem to know Japanese culture better than Japanese people when they're not cosplaying as Japanese people through Google Translate. So one story that was making a lot of waves, I seen a lot of the Go Woke Go Broke channels on YouTube. They were posting videos about how the Japanese government was going to investigate Ubisoft for falsifying the fact that Yasuke was a samurai. And I'm not gonna lie, the way they was talking real greasy, I was like, damn, this might be a L for Ubisoft. Did they find something? But I never actually clicked and watched any of those videos because I don't want them in my algorithm. But I'm glad I read this article. This article, we find out the Japanese government basically said they don't give a fuck what y'all think. We have bigger fish to fry. But the most interesting thing that I feel like is getting left out about this whole Yasuke argument is, so the NHK party, which is like a fringe political party within Japan, they're the ones that are taking this argument to the Japanese government and saying like, hey, look at them. They're messing with our history. Yasuke is a DEI samurai, da-da-da-da-da-da. And this is the part that like the YouTube channels were latching on to. What I found out from the article, I didn't know this, but the NHK party is like some fringe political party that's not even taken seriously in Japan.
Yeah,
so
it's like a super alt-right political party.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones. We've all
never going nowhere. This was never going anywhere. They were like,
it wasn't like the
joke.
Leader of Japan was like, we gotta get on this Assassin's Creed stuff.
It was just somebody who they got to latch on to the campaign. That's all.
Yep. And even I think even the dude from the party knew this was never going anywhere. So then when he presented this argument from the West to the Japanese government, they threw it out. They was like, we don't care. Because if you actually keep up with what's going on in the world, the Japanese currency is at an all-time low. Their birth rates are low right now. They have real issues going on in Japan. They don't give a fuck about what's going on with Yasuke. And they actually released a statement saying, shut the fuck up. And to make matters even worse, even the Assassin's Creed subreddit came out and said, we are going to start banning anyone complaining about the historical accuracy of Yasuke. We are sick and tired of this debate.
They should never negotiate with terrorists.
Should have never negotiated. So do you think that like the Go Wokey Brokey type are going to actually give up? Do you think they're going to take their L?
I don't think so. You're going to hear it happen all over again when the game comes out, and they're going to be like, oh, they're playing hip-hop music with Yasuke. And, it's going to happen all over again. It's going to happen all over. I don't think they're going to give up. Honestly, so the thing that I've seen Japanese people, like regular Japanese people, actually being a little bit like, is they got some problems with like flags that they've chosen to use that are... Yeah, the flags are like there's rice being grown in a period where it just makes no sense for rice to be there and different things to be there at the same time. So I've seen that where they're like, can you just like accurately portray Japan? But not so much the Yasuke thing. But no, I don't think they'll give up. Unless there's something more important happening around that time that they can latch onto. But this is all they do is they go online and try and drum up drama against studios for things they don't like. So.
That's crazy. That translation, the Yasuke part is accurate. What wasn't accurate is the little details that you had in the game. Go fix that. That's what the issue was. That's
yeah,
funny,
like why is rice here? It shouldn't be growing at this time of year, man.
That's fucking funny.
Or like they had a torii gate that was like an entrance to a village. And torii gates is supposed to be like entrances used for gods. So people actually go around torii gates. So they're like, you can't have a torii gate as an entrance to it.
I know that.
So it's stuff like that.
I know. Oh, I'm so cool. Okay, I know that. Bro, okay. Side note. So it's funny. So there's a map in Samurai Zero that we were developing, and I said this. I was like, oh, can we put like a torii gate here? And because we did research, so I said, oh, because a friend of mine, somebody worked on the project. Two people actually did. They lived in Japan. And they said actually a torii gate wouldn't make sense here, but because of the context of where you're placing this in the forest, because we had a shrine that was a little bit in there. He was like, no, this would make sense for this location, but it wouldn't make sense in one of the city ones. I was like, oh, so then we made a change. It's fun fact. Okay, there you go. I'm done.
Yeah, I went to a park and they were like, don't walk through it. That's
don't walk through it.
Don't walk through it.
Yeah.
What do you think about this all, Jay?
I'm just waiting on the next goalpost shift. I'm not even gonna say much about this. I'm just waiting on the next goalpost shift, so just so I can report on it. Because honestly, after this, I want to see what they're gonna come up with.
That is gonna be it. It's gonna be. They're gonna finally see that there's a woman in it, and then
there's a woman in here.
Like, oh shit! Now she right there the whole time.
Women can't do that.
Oh, I've heard a little bit of it actually, because they were like, why didn't they use a historical female ninja for the Japanese character, but they had to do it for the black character. That's what I've heard. So that's the next one. That's what's coming.
Just saying shit at this point, bro. Oh man, interesting time in the world. I think what's gonna come of this actually is they're not gonna take the L. They're just gonna take that article from the Reddit thing, and they're gonna be like, "See, the left is trying to silence us. If we go to the Reddit and we speak the truth, like they're just gonna keep doing tinfoil hat." And like at this point, I'm not gonna lie, I just anytime one of these articles come out, I just read it on stream to farm views because like it's free views, just to laugh at them. Like we gotta start laughing at these people, bro. Like,
if they get upset, they just,
you do
they
like
the hell out of your videos.
It's going viral, baby. Like,
yeah. Like you've seen what the Democrat Party's doing, right? They're just calling people weird. We need to start calling people weird. You're just weird. Yeah, just call them weird and move on.
You're fucking weird.
You're weird. That's it.
We're seeing some pushback from gamers. They're fighting back. We've seen game preservation really start to enter the zeitgeist of the gaming community. A lot of games have been getting pulled, people not being able to play them because for those unaware, a lot with these digital games and the terms of service, you do not own the games and they have the right to revoke the license. They can just pull it off your hard drive at any point. It was happening with TV shows on PlayStation like a few months ago too as well. And it scared a lot of people into buying physicals. Matter of fact, I just started collecting records because I was like, you know what? I read an article, I don't know if y'all know, apparently Spotify has, I don't know about Apple, but Spotify has never been profitable. I read that, I'm like, bruh, Twitch has never been profitable. Spotify, I'm like, these companies could go at any time, dude. I was like, you know what? I got a new rule for music too. If I really like it, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna support the artist. But gamers are pushing back on this front. What's the name? And it was thanks to the crew. They put together a petition called "Stop Killing Games," and basically they're going to the EU government and trying to put some protections in place for consumers when it comes to being able to pull. Like, I think they're trying to find that happy medium because people understand. Like, if a game is not popular anymore, we understand why you're shutting down the online servers because it costs you a lot of money. But at bare minimum, I should be able to play the game single player. I paid for it. Like, I should be able to own it. So like, they're petitioning to the EU to put some pro-consumer practices into play. And I'm curious to hear, do y'all think that this is actually going to go anywhere, Ethos?
Hope so. Usually the EU actually does do this sort of stuff. Like, they're the main reason behind the whole...
Apple shit.
Yeah, the Apple thing, the Fortnite thing. Like, they usually are the ones that end up... America fucking sucks. Are legal.
Except for the Olympics come around.
Yeah, the Olympics.
USA. Because of all the immigrants we have. Yeah. We're winning.
Hell yeah.
All your people. I hope it does happen. America sucks when it comes to getting legal things like this taken care of for us, but the EU seems to be a lot more strict on like a lot of their customer stuff. I think it has a chance of passing. I hope it does. Unfortunately, I don't think it'll really affect us.
Yeah, well, sometimes what happens over in the EU comes over here because I mean, what happened with the Apple thing? I think that's gonna affect the states eventually because I don't think they want to make multiple different iPhones with different ports. Yeah,
they're the reason why the iPhone has to use a USB-C.
I'm not gonna rule it out. I'm not gonna rule it out. It's a possibility if there's enough pressure. Any takes on it, Jay?
I mean, yeah, I don't see this being a bad thing at all. I do hope that this ends up gaining some more traction and becoming law. Because I mean, why not? I do wholeheartedly agree that you shouldn't be able to shut down any game that I have purchased, you know, whether online or otherwise. So it definitely should go into effect. So I'll be definitely paying attention to this and seeing what the progress is going forward. So hopefully it does lead somewhere.
What about you, Watts?
Yeah, I kind of agree with things that you guys have said. We've seen so much stuff now being just gone, including the magazines, right? Game Informer's gone. I can't read any of that anymore. The services that are being shut down. There's games that they're just like pulling the plug so you can't play the game anymore. You just can't be doing that. You can't just take away people's stuff like that. So yeah, I hope that something comes of it. And I think they might need to add a better way for more games to be able to make physical copies, because it's always such a huge thing for indie games to do. Like they always have like an extra goal if they're doing like a Kickstarter where they can do a physical copy, because it takes a while. Like a game that I really like has only just recently got a physical copy, and it's like 4 years old.
What game is that?
Grime. You should, if you like parrying, play Grime. Play Grime. It's so good. So they were actually making their game before Sekiro came out, and they were kind of concerned about having they were concerned because they're like a 4-person studio. So they were concerned about having a game that's purely around parrying. And then Sekiro did it, and they were like, "Oh, we can do it. Let's go." Check it out. It's really
I
good.
googled grime, and the first thing that came up was UK rappers. I gotta check game.
It is a type of
You gotta put in grime video game.
Yeah.
Go on Steam.
I see it. It's got very
Look
positive
on Steam.
reviews. Interesting.
Yeah, it's
Well,
really good.
Flamehead dude.
Yeah, it's like the black hole head.
Yeah.
Doesn't look
Yeah.
bad.
No, it's really good. They have a DLC too, and the way that they did their DLC is it just is with the base game, so it's all integrated. It's not like a totally separate area. So if you play it now, you can just play through all of it and have all of that content. And it's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, there are certain games that you just get lost to time because certain games are only digital releases. Matter of fact, I'm glad you brought that up because I picked up a bunch of games at Best Buy for my Switch, and Milady was with me. One of her favorite games I found out, because she's a Call of Duty head, was Super Meat Boy. I was like, that's a deep cut. I was like, okay. And we were in the Switch section, and there was a limited edition release for the Switch of Super Meat Boy. And I told her, I was like, you should buy that because it was only $15. And she was like, why? I was like,
Definitely.
that's a digital only release. I was like, and that's a limited edition release. A, it'll probably be worth a lot of money at some point. But B, like, if Steam collapses or Xbox Live, you'll never be able to play your favorite game again. She's like, wow, I never thought of it. But yeah. So yeah, I get where you're coming from. But yeah, that's the petition. Hopefully, I think it has like 30,000 signatures or something like that. So hopefully it continues to grow. One thing that we've been talking about too is like smaller teams as a solution, smaller games, more AA games. That's a solution to this bubble that's bursting within the game industry. Blizzard has reportedly created some smaller teams to create AA games. I don't really have any hot takes on this. Hopefully we just start to see more of this as a trend. I want to see more just experimental games, because like on the flip side of things, not only is everything becoming AAA, but like everything's just becoming watered down. Like a lot, especially PlayStation games, they're becoming very formulaic. And when you have like smaller teams and there's less cooks in the kitchen, there's room to like experiment and try different things. So like that's the main reason I want to see more of these AA games. It allows for some creativity that we might not see in other places.
Shout out to Kunitsugami, Capcom, for just being like, go
That
crazy.
was a weird.
I forgot to put that on the notes. I forgot it came out because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't play it. It just never got around to it. Did you want to speak on that, Watts?
I just really like it. Like all I can do is say like the game really impressed me, because I thought it was going to be like maybe a smaller thing, maybe like pretty short, but it's actually pretty lengthy. I don't know exactly how long. I'd have to look it up. But it's just super experimental, and like they added, 3D modeled food to the game that you can look at. It doesn't do anything. It just teaches you about like Japan's history of food, and you get to look at it. There's just a bunch of stuff in that game.
Wait.
That's like.
Did the Redditors check the history on that? Is that accurate? Or is it only for Yasuke?
I don't know. Only Yasuke ate those foods, so it's not historically accurate.
I'm just saying, are we keeping the same energy, or are we only checking the history on Yasuke? Like
It's a really cool game, and every time I see like an intro for a new enemy or a new boss, it's always so good. And generally I don't look at a lot of like 3D models that they add to games of enemy types, but this one I wanted to like really look at it because they're so intricately created. It's just a really good game. I'm so happy that the developers there were able to just make something so unique.
What's the name? Have the Ethos or Jay, did y'all get a chance to play it?
Yep.
What'd you think?
No.
Yeah, I liked it. I've seen Watts. I haven't beaten it yet, but take some time to play it when I get a chance. But I did really like how experimental it was. I went into it blind. I didn't know anything about the game. I was shocked. I was like, I thought it was gonna be one type of game. I thought it was gonna be like some side scroller, some hack and slash. It wasn't that. I was like, whoa, what? It was like a tower defense mixed with like action game, mixed with strategy game. I was with like a collective game. I was like, bro, what am I playing? It's a really unique experimental game that if you like, even if you like Japanese culture or history and you're interested in learning that, it teaches you something, which is awesome. But then on top of that, the game's actually pretty interesting. This game design,
it's pretty cool, man.
Pretty unique stuff. So yeah, I recommend it. It's a good Game Pass game.
I was gonna say,
that's why they put it on Game Pass. Yeah, it's on Game Pass. I'm gonna play it on my Steam Deck, I think.
That's what I really want to play it on. If I could put it on my Steam Deck.
Okay. Look out. How do you pronounce that game again?
Kunitsugami. It's also just called, you can also say Path of the Goddess, because it's Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess.
Yeah,
Check it out. It's on Game Pass.
Check it out.
It's on Game Pass. And then last but not least for articles, what I got for y'all is Apex Legends is on a slide. I know Ethos is really happy. Get your hate out. For those not in the know, about a week ago, Respawn announced that they were making some changes for the upcoming Season 22, which today is August 3rd. Season 22 happens August 6th. The changes they were making is to the battle pass. They were going to make a split like there's like the rank season. So instead of one battle pass, there's going to be two. And, you know, no big deal if, you know, you're paying for the price of one, but no, they wanted instead of $20. So you had to pay twice for it. And they tried to justify it by saying you get a little bit of extra crafting materials. So naturally the community was upset. They rioted. Apparently it has like 100,000 negative reviews on the Steam version of the game. And last I checked the other day, like the peak player count was at like 50,000. Which is a far cry from like the 600,000 peak like 2 seasons ago. The numbers might go back up on the 6th when the new season drops because Akimbo is coming to the game and some other changes like a new map. Look at this asshole.
It's Akimbo.
We're doing something that Halo 2 did.
I'm not gonna lie, like it does make me happy that the consumers are like, nah, we're not doing that. Like I just wish other communities would do the same exact thing, but you never know until like the full season drops. But it's just a funny story I thought I want to share. I'm like, I like to see when communities have a backbone. Like people are tired of doing these weeklies, these dailies, these monthlies, these yearlies. You want twice as much for the battle pass. Your skins is $100,000. Like, goddamn, like where is your situational awareness? People are struggling right now. Why are you cheering that?
You know why I'm cheering that. You know why. I'm a Titanfall 2 fan. I got one thing and one thing only I want Respawn to be doing. And if they're too busy doing Apex, they can't be working on Titanfall. I hope this fails. I hope it falls. I pray every day. I don't pray the guys of I want developers to lose their job, but I want them to move on.
EA's gonna close them before they do another Titanfall. They're gonna say, "All right."
You know what's crazy? I actually believe you. that's the worst part. I think EA would close Respawn before we even got a chance to see a Titanfall 3. But,
Andrew Wilson said, "No."
Not Titanfall.
Damn. But I just want my Titanfall 3. That's why every day I prayed for Apex Legends down. I'm happy to see that, it's falling.
I'm not
it's
gonna
like
say
that other game, Overwatch and Apex Legends. Those are the two I pray every day. I wake up, I say, Lord, I don't know.
I'm not gonna say the game is dead, but I will say season 22, if it's not fire, this is a turning point for them. Like the numbers are already dipping. If they don't get it right, because they did come out and retract that they won't be doing the double battle pass for the season. They fixed that real quick when they seen how people was mad. So like kudos to them for at least listening to the community. But I will say people ain't gonna forget you tried to fuck them over. You about to say something, Jay?
It didn't stop. I find this funny. I'm looking at Steam right now. I have 2 friends who have reviewed the game. One of my friends has reviewed it recently. Said the game is trash, developers are trash. I see why people say the horrible things they do to the devs of the game. EA as a company needs to go bankrupt. So one of my friends, another friend is Ethos.
Wait, no.
From 2021. Can I please read
Give
this?
the date.
Can I please read this?
2021.
From March 20th, 2021. He says, and I quote, "Every couple of months, I go from loving this game to hating this game, back to loving this game. It seems that as of right now, I am on the loving this game cycle."
Let me rechange this review. I am now on the I hate this game cycle.
Yeah, you should just put update. Fuck this game.
Yeah, I'll do that right now. Update.
Fuck this game forever.
88,215 reviews, overwhelmingly negative. It's been a while since I've seen it overwhelmingly negative. You see negative, but overwhelmingly negative is crazy.
Even though I haven't played the game, I have been paying attention. Like anytime like a new trailer drops for like a new season or event, I've been paying attention, and like I understand why they're pissed. Not only are you trying to charge for 2 battle passes, but the skins have been ass for like the last 10 seasons. It just be like different colors and shit like that.
They've been really bad.
So it's like
they also took away the ability for people to earn the amount of money to buy the battle pass. So it was like it was a twofer. Because if you played enough, you could get it back and buy the next battle pass.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to become a villain. I will say one thing now that I think about it, that's treading new ground when it comes to these live service games. We've never seen a live service game that's gone out on top on its own merit. Do you think we'll ever see a day where Fortnite's like, hey, look, guys, we see the numbers dwindling. It's been a great ride, but we want to leave on our own merits versus like, I feel like every live service game has been shut down because it fell off or like it got attacked negatively or something like that? Do you think we'll ever reach a point where like not developers, but like these studios would be like, all right, 5 years, I think we've done everything we've done with this game. Let's let it go. Do you think? No,
I don't think so. Not with live service games.
That's the best way to get a better reviews on the live service.
I mean, yeah, we saw something with Baldur's Gate, right? They were like, "You making DLC?" They're like, "No, I don't think it makes sense for our game." We're not gonna see that for a live service. They have to like ride it to the end.
That's depressing.
I'll tell you funny. You want to hear something really depressing? I won't say who the publisher is, but I had a pitch like interview with them about Samurai Zero, and they asked me. They said, "Hey, so what's your plans in the future?" And I said, "Oh, I'm so glad you asked. I actually have written up the plan for this." And they said, "Oh, so what happens after this plan? Like, year, 2 years, 3 years after this happens? What do you plan on doing after that?" I said, "Oh, I'm done. The game's done." They're like, "So it's not live?" I'm like, "No." It's like, "Well, wouldn't you want to keep going forever?" I'm like, "No, I lose my mind. I have set in the future a set plan. I wanted to do this and this and this, and then I'm done. Do something else." And they said, "Nah, it wasn't what we're looking for, because we're looking for something that can go on for 10 years." I said 10 years? I said, "All right, good luck." Good luck.
That's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, I just couldn't believe it. Genuinely.
That's unfortunate. There's like, yeah, if you're not trying to milk your audience that doesn't even exist yet because you haven't released this game, we're not gonna really fuck with that. So
I'm playing that.
That's all I got on the news side of things. So we're gonna move over to the social justice warrior section, or shall I call it the wokey news section, where we're going to be reverting to our social justice warrior experts, UTX, JG the Don. First story I got for you. There is now a video game strike going on. Last year we had the writers and actors strike, but the gaming division of SAG, they are now under strike for two reasons. A, obviously better pay, but also protections against AI. Apparently there's nothing in the contract that protects the voice actors and all that other stuff. And this is going to affect a lot of games. The only games it won't affect is the games that were in production before the strike actually started. So like, what was it? Take-Two or Rockstar had came out and said that, oh, this shouldn't affect our game. But the thing is, if you read their statement, they say that like, yes, contractually there are certain games that still need to be finished, but if you choose not to work, we will support you. So like, I saw some people like super excited. They was like, oh, don't worry, Grand Theft Auto 6 is safe. Take that with a grain of salt, 50-50. It really depends on if the workers choose this to show up. And me, I'm always going to advocate for paying people more, especially because these people work hard, especially these developers. A lot of them don't get to see their families. I mean, I was talking about on stream. I remember we went to Epic Games. They had EA, they had gyms in there, arcades. Like, they don't want you to leave. Showers. These people don't get to see their families, and they barely getting paid. Man, pay them motherfuckers, bro. Especially if they making good games. That's my stance. So I really don't give a fuck if it delays games. I'm always going to advocate for treating people right. What you think, Watts?
Oh man, I don't know. I think with all the stuff that we've seen happening recently, the last 2 years have been, I don't know the exact amount of how many people have lost their jobs, but it's been a lot. So I think that anything that's working towards like having more protections for people, whatever they're doing in games, whether it's voice acting, whether it's, animation, whatever they're doing, more protection for them, I think, has been needed for quite a long time. And I know a couple of voice actors. They are so incredible at what they do, and having just their voices ripped and used, and I wouldn't want to see that. And it's never going to be as good as their actual work, too. But people are going to go, oh, that sounds like so-and-so. Why does it sound so bad? So it also comes back on them. It's like, you don't sound as good as you normally do. So yeah, I hope it works out for them. I think that we need to start having those kind of protections written into contracts. Like, if you don't want to be about it, or if you do and you have a price for them to pay to use your voice in an AI way, like, either way, there needs to be something.
Give us the game dev insight, Ethos.
No, I agree. I feel like that is insidious to take potentially old records or recordings of a voice actor maybe you might have used in a past game, and then instead of like calling them back in, be like, oh, why do we have to pay them to call them in for the sequel? We could just, like, can you imagine, if you will, TBH, imagine for the next Mass Effect, right? They're like, oh, we don't need to call Jennifer Hale in for female ship. We're just gonna use an AI and just build her voice model out from just all the games of everything she did in the trilogy. Yeah, I think it's a terrible idea. I think that they need voice actors definitely needed. I agree with Watts. Need enhanced protections. I know a couple of voice actors that not only that I've worked closely with myself, but like they've done anime and everything else. And they're honestly, out of a lot of groups of people I've met, they're some of the coolest people on this earth. They're really awesome groups of people. Very kind and always to go above and beyond what you ever ask. Yeah, like I think that without a doubt that, and just in general, I am happy to hear about there's another union, I think in the Microsoft space. I think it was all of Bethesda now. Was it Bethesda or Activision? I think it was Bethesda. I think all the developers in like all spheres of Bethesda have now become fully unionized. I can't remember.
We need more of that for sure.
Yeah, we need 1,000% more. So
at least let me know you're gonna let me go before you let me go. Can we get that happening?
That too, yeah.
So yeah, that stuff has me very happy. I hope they do get voice actors always deserve more. Deserve to be protected.
What's the name? You know who said that they're not worried about these the strike that's going on? EA's CEO Andrew Wilson. He said,
"No, my lord,
we're working very closely." This is not an EA specific situation. This is an industry specific situation, and we're working diligently to negotiate the table. Wilson said, noting that the voice actors are important and a valued part of EA business. Is this cap or rap, JG? What do you think?
I mean, of course he would say that, right? Because I remember we spoke about this, and when the actors and the writers went on strike earlier, I remember the question I asked on Twitter. I said, "Well, will this affect video games?" And a lot of people were like, "Oh no, it won't affect the video games." And I knew this was going to be inevitable. We spoke about this, and we knew it was going to happen, and now it is here. And now people are like, "Oh shit, that's finally going down." And I found it funny because we talked about, another one of these articles earlier about EA specifically potentially using AI to use former VAs voices in their video game. So I find it funny that now the CEO is trying to save face because they were probably had these in the plans, and now that this strike is happening, like, oh no, y'all look good.
There's
it
no
won't
war
affect us.
embossing,
We're gonna be
sir.
working with them closely. Yeah, no AI over here. No AI. no AI. So this is pretty hilarious that he's saying this. So I think this is just a bunch of cap. I mean, I think it is true, just in the fact that, like, hey, like, this is going down, and now if we try to do that, it will be a very, very bad look if we try to use AI for previous people who we've done VA work for. So that's all it is. It's just a bunch of smoke screen.
Pay them people. Pay them people. Pay them people. The cost of living is going up. Adjust the wages so people can have. Listen, when people are comfortable, they're more efficient. When people are more efficient, they work harder. When they work harder, the product is better. So in turn, you'll make more money. I don't know why this is a hard thing for people to comprehend. You don't need 25 cars, Penis Pete, or whatever your name was, Parsons. Penis, that's Spider-Man. Other SJW news I got for you. Not an article, but more of an announcement. I'm really curious to get Jay's take on this one right here. I know he's been real stressed out. You see the gray coming in his beard. Dr. Disrespect is back after admitting, first he was accused. Let me get the whole picture. If you've been living under a rock for like 5+ years, this man's been gaslighting the internet, making it seem like Twitch had it out for him, and that was the reason he was banned. But then a random whistleblower, a former employee of Twitch, came out and just randomly said the real reason he was banned was due to some PDF files stuff, and then some actual documents and reports came out. So then he was forced to actually release a statement on his official Twitter where he admitted he had some inappropriate interactions with minors. He said he was going to go on vacation. He would be back. Here we are 36 days later, and Dr. Disrespect tweeted a picture of him sitting at a board where he's playing chess. But on the other side, if you notice, they're playing checkers.
A child's version of chess. Interesting.
Jay, What is this doing for you? What do you think is going on here, man?
Oh my god, fuck this cryptic shit, man. What are you really trying to say? Like, I feel like this is one of the worst sayings that you, Dr. Disrespect, should come back and be doing. Like, oh, I have this master plan. I'm playing chess and y'all are playing checkers. Like, this doesn't work for you. You tried to come back, and this is exactly what I said. This is exactly what's happening, right? Like, I said that this man was going to take this long vacation, right? And he was going to, take however long he wanted. And then he's going to come back, and then he's going to test the water, see how people were feeling, see if y'all forgot, because we're dealing with other stuff over here, like this election coming up. So a distraction technique, because how fickle people are. We do have ADHD, so we forget stuff. But there is a shift going on. I keep telling people, 2024, wake that ass up. We are getting rid of all these PDF files.
Shout out to Cat Williams.
And right, shout out to Cat Williams for waking it up. And people are not forgetting. People are putting Dr. Disrespect on the Drake type of time right now. They are still throwing all Kendrick lyrics at him, and they did not let this man live. They were cooking him in the comments all day and all night. We did not forget, Negro. We did not forget. But the very interesting thing about this is I thought that he would just leave this picture here and then just go on about his business. No. He had a couple of things to say in the comments. He had a couple of things to say in the comments. He is on this full villain arc. And I'm like, I know your name is Dr. Disrespect, but this is really what you want to do right now. I don't think this is really what you want to do, because you're making it worse on yourself. One particular person, apparently I didn't know that this was a meme, but the Goku meme, when they said, I heard you like pedophiles. I heard you like them little boys and girls. So someone hit him with that, and he said, little brainwashed woke boy putting out Dragon Ball Z graphics with Kendrick Lamar lines. Got me big time. So he's reacting. He's triggered. But another person said, you playing with the minor? And he said, he's a person with she/her in your bio. Said you better go and fight what y'all fight the most, depression. So I'm like, okay, so you going at the pronouns too? So you really about that life, brother.
He's literally proving my point of something I said to you like 3 months on stream. I uploaded a TikTok about it. I gotta repost this shit. I made a joke. I said, what I've noticed is, where do failing careers go online, whether you're a YouTuber or a streamer, when you're trying to make a comeback? They become right-wing grifters, bruh. And he's showing early signs he's about to go full-blown right-wing, where he's going to try to make it seem like everything's a conspiracy, the world's out to get him, we're all in the Matrix. This is a crazy picture to post after you just admitted you're doing pedo shit.
You admitted it!
You admitted you were doing pedo shit, and then you posted a picture saying you're playing chess. All I got from this post is, I'm officially a checkers fan. What do you think, Ethan?
Oh my
That
god.
vacation was not long enough. He needed to take his ass back.
It's only been like 30 days, man.
Yeah,
Come on.
take your ass
What the
back
heck?
for, let's say, a decade. Don't
That
even
clout.
go back up. Better a whole generation, bro.
Man, them endorsements went away. I don't know if he has any left.
He'll be on Rumble by the end of this year. Mark my words.
Mhm.
Yeah, the money is coming up. So again, this is testing the waters, y'all. This is trying to see how y'all feel. There were some people who were like, "Hey, Doc is back." They were very excited.
A lot,
And
actually.
that kid got 51 million impressions. Like that's crazy just for him posting this picture. So you can see it's a lot of people who were caring. When is he coming back? When is he coming back? But again, people didn't forget there were a ton of people who were still on his ass. So like I said, it's going to be very interesting whenever he does ultimately decide to come back and stream. I want to be there with my popcorn. I want to see how people are going to be acting, and if he has the mods on deck that are literally going to just be banning people, because he's going to need it. The way that people are acting, I think they're going to come in there and be like, "Yo, like, nah." Yeah, I hear you like I'm young.
I wouldn't be surprised if his chat turns into like a PDF file version of, like, you remember when the U.S. Army had an account and everybody just spammed war crimes. Like, it's gonna be like that. They're gonna spam some specific phrase. They're gonna get him the fuck out. They made the Army quit Twitch. That shit was fucking funny, bro.
They did. Good job.
What's your take on this one?
Dude, the PDF file to right-wing grifter pipeline. Why does it work? if you ever wonder why does it work, why does your subsection of people embrace someone who has admitted to speaking to a minor privately? This is not people working against you. This is, you said on your own account, I was inappropriate talking to a minor. So sitting there being like what JG said with him responding to people, oh, you have pronouns in your bio, you talked to a minor and you said you did it. He doesn't have anything to be like, oh, they're just against me, they're trying to come at me with this, it's not true. He admitted himself. So to say, you can't come back from anything other than you were a grown man. 30, how old was he when he did it? 38 or something?
37, 38.
Something like that. And he was continue talking to a minor inappropriately.
There's no comeback for that.
There's no comeback. And if you embrace him after he has admitted to what he did, because he's saying that he doesn't like trans people and pronouns are terrible, like, I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't know how you can ever accept anyone back into your life in whatever capacity after that has happened. And I think shout out to the person who owns the studio that they were making the game, because he was like, hey, if you speak to a minor inappropriately, I am no longer having anything to do with you.
That was my boy Robert
Yeah.
Boland, bro. The guy that lied to us about Last Stand, bro. He
F you, Last Stand.
He said, fuck you, Last Stand. He said, fuck that PDF.
That's what we need everyone to do. You admitted to it. Nah, I'm good.
That's
No
crazy.
thanks. No
Before
more.
he even came out, this boy Robert said, yo, I did a check. That boy gotta go. He said, I ain't gotta tell y'all, bro. I did a check. He gotta go, bro. He got my utmost respect.
This
Shout out to
whole
Robert Boland.
this whole situation just makes me feel weird in a sense that, like, this is not even the type of person where, like, you have to use that argument like I need to separate the art from the artist. It is like an example being like the R. Kelly stuff, right? Like,
Right.
he's canceled. I understand why he's canceled, but I also understand to some degree why it was hard for some people to let go, because he did make some good music. I get it. That I understand, but he's still got to get him the fuck out of here. This is like a 40-year-old something guy who sits in his house with a cosplaying and just playing a video game and screaming. He's not a tastemaker. Like, he's not putting anything on. He's not doing anything creative. He's not pushing needles. He's just yelling at a game. So I don't understand what's the connection here where, like, you're just having such a hard time to let him go. It's really weird. And to make matters worse, also, he's a fraud developer too, because I got this article too. Midnight Society, the studio that he claimed he was working with, they said that he was just a figurehead. He didn't do shit.
Mm-hmm.
They threw him under the bus.
What?
Yeah, I put the article in the notes. They say he ain't do nothing. They were using him for clout.
And this one is wild. This one, when I saw this, I was like, are y'all trying to, like, save face here? This one is weird because the only thing that I will give Guy here, his real name, Guy Beamir, is he actually did work on Call of Duty back in the day. So it's not like he didn't do anything at all. But when I saw this, I was like, damn, y'all really just said he's an influencer. It sounds like y'all are trying to mitigate what his real job responsibility is. This is what I think. I don't think that he was just an influencer who got, I think this is Cap. I don't think he was just an influencer that got brought on to bring attention to the game and then play the game. Yeah, I think he actually had some input. I think he had some real genuine input. Because let's not act like this guy, it's just like the Shroud situation, right? Like, Shroud knows CSGO and Valorant like the back of his hand. So he would have some really good insight on how to make a new game, in that same vein. I think that Dr. Disrespect also has a similar experience and input.
He worked on Advanced Warfare. His name's
exactly. We're not saying if it's good consulting, but he has consulting.
He has game dev experience. Yeah, he's worked on video games. Yeah.
So I think this one is Cap, but I found it very interesting.
We're gonna see when he come back. They said, JD said, we're going to have the popcorn out. We're going to be watching it. I'm going to also be keeping eyes on who's supporting him, too. We watching you, too.
You watching him?
Because this ain't the first time he did this. Like I said, it was the last time we talked about this. So he came back after he cheated on his wife. And then it had a big old, everybody wanted to, like, oh, Doc is back. I want to see how it is now. I want to check that climate and see what everybody's doing.
He's gonna be playing with Nick Merckx, 100%. They're gonna.
He's on that Nick Merckx time. I mean, talking about pronouns and trans, right? He trying to do his best. Nick
You think
Merckx
he's going
impression.
to after that? Like after both of them disowned him? You think he's gonna feel?
They disown him?
I thought.
both of them did say that they can't.
Yeah, they said I can't. Well, who's the other one? Timmy.
It was
Tim
Nick
the
Mertz and
Tatman.
Tim the Tatman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tim was like a straight up like, I don't fuck with that. It's real fucking bad. Like he disowned it. I think relatively like pretty good. Nick Mertz was kind of a man. I'm just like I can't believe it, bro.
This
like,
is crazy. Like,
yeah. It wasn't
right.
like he did say like, oh yeah, like that type of shit is wrong, but it was kind of like that sort of like I'm just in shock type of thing.
yeah.
Tim was more like,
We'll
no,
see.
fuck, you don't do nice. But
Tim
yeah,
looked pretty like genuinely upset
Yeah.
about it.
Tim,
That was his
genuinely
boy
was
for
like,
real.
What the fuck? Like,
And Tim worked with kids in the past. I'm pretty sure.
Also, don't
So-
he got kids? Bro,
That's
If
what I'm
we-
if we
that's
cool
what-
and I
all
got
of
you,
them have
not
kids.
allowed around my kids. What the fuck are we
That's what
talking
I'm
about here?
saying.
All of them have kids.
Well,
bro.
you know, the same thing that Midnight Society just did in this article is the same thing that, Nick Mercer and them were trying to say was effectively Nick Mercer's whole defense was, I didn't even know the man. We just played video games.
Yeah.
Like, for 4 years, I played with these two below me for over a decade. I went to one man's wedding in here. Like, what do you
Right,
mean?
that- like that's
you played
your
with it?
friend, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
Yeah,
your
it's your
it's
friend.
okay.
That's your friend.
Yeah,
100%.
ain't no way
Right.
you've been playing video games before you and be like, oh no, we just came in the room, we just started playing video. Nah, bro, get the fuck out.
He was like, I didn't know who Guy was. I knew who
Yeah.
disrespect was.
Actually, that was a good bar. That's a good bar.
It's fucking
Oh,
crazy,
man.
bro.
Leave kids alone, please. Stop
Please.
texting them.
Yo, word of advice, bro. If you get famous, some way, somehow, you get a lot of money, bro. There's only one requirement. Stop talking to kids. Just stop.
talking to kids.
Stop
It's getting
talking
weird,
to
man. I
kids.
want to bring up one thing before we're done with this. Do y'all remember the King Nappy?
Yeah.
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 Y'all remember
PDF
everything
file
that happened
photo.
with him? No, he was. I mean, yeah, he was on some grooming stuff, but it was on the same side of the spectrum. And you remember when he tried to come back, and
I don't even remember
it
that.
was not the same. I like checked up on him, and he
Hold
tried
up.
to do something like a year ago, and it just didn't work. And
Hold
then
up,
he
hold
just got
up,
off the
hold up.
internet again.
So here's where I'm going to give you a counter. And this, like, I hate to say this, but the rules are different. First and foremost,
Black.
he's black. Yes.
I know. I know.
He's black.
You know
I
they
know.
try to get niggas the fuck up out of here any chance they get. And then second, King Nappy was never as big as Dr. Disrespect either. So he had two things working against him. He was always one strike away, but like my theory has
Thinking
always
Pokemon,
been nothing can defeat white men except for the PDF file stuff and kicking puppies. And Dr. Disrespect is showing my theory might be wrong. I'm still 50-50 on this. I'm hoping y'all hold the line and don't support this shit, bruh.
It's insane to me that anyone's even thinking of supporting it. I just,
Yeah.
I
I
blows
just
my
really
mind.
want
I
to
feel
know
like I'm going insane.
What are people's lines? What are everybody's lines that they're just like, no.
Not cheating on your wife, not trying to
Yeah.
hook up with a bunch of girls at TwitchCon, not talking to a minor. None of those, apparently.
No, their line is Concord. That's
Their
what,
Yo.
that shit is fucking garbage, bro. Or Star Wars outlet shit is they rally for that. But then this minor shit is like whatever. This was it's getting really weird, bro.
It's really weird.
Freaking and the worst part is this isn't the only PDF stuff we got going on, bruh. The fucking cameraman of AMP got exposed and he admitted to it. Specifically, the cameraman is named Chris V, not the one that's in AMP, Chris Next Door. Because somebody about to catch a lawsuit for getting that confused. He got caught. The cameraman for AMP got caught talking to a minor as well. So like, I'm just gonna present the question. Like, what? I've seen this as a joke on TikTok. But now I'm starting to think, like, what is it with some content creators where they get this popularity and they just go off on far left? I don't know what the fuck. I don't get it. I can't wrap my
They
brain
were
around it.
losers before it happened.
Too.
They had no social skills. They don't talk to nobody. They get a little bit of clout. Your result.
Yeah, he throws it the
I
nail
don't
on the
think it's
head.
You know what's crazy? I don't even think it is for a lot of them. I don't think it is like an attraction, like an actual like mental issue of being attracted to a child. It's more of this person is giving me attention.
It's a power dynamic.
I've never, yes,
Yeah.
it's a power dynamic, and because I'm older and stuff like that, right? Like they look up to me, like they've never had someone look up to them, and now that they've had that, and they're attractive or whatever it is, that's a whole other thing, or that they are of the of whatever attraction that they have, that inclines them to then go for it.
But then that's still
It
not
makes sense
even.
with the text. It
They
makes
are
sense.
weird.
Hold on,
It still
it's
doesn't make
still
sense.
weird because
It's
check it out,
It's
right?
always fucking weird. I'm not even trying to justify it.
Someone
It's
like
fucking
Dr.
weird.
Disrespect is a multi-millionaire, and one thing we all know, there are people out there that will be with somebody strictly for their status and their money. So like, why, if you really want to be in some power dynamic situation, at least why not deal with an adult that wants that from you versus going to like,
Because
a
an
kid?
adult isn't going to do that. Because an adult, for example, right, isn't going to just agree to everything you say. Most of them.
Yeah.
Most of them, right?
They'll agree to
there's a level-
some, but not
There's a
all.
level. Yes, there's a level of like, I'm not going to agree to everything. But an impressionable minor who doesn't know, who's very fucking naive about the world, doesn't know shit, is probably going to be more what you said, the line's going to be way farther.
This whole conversation makes my head hurt, and it's fucking disgusting. I'm gonna be
It
honest.
does, because you're
think about
fucking
it.
normal.
I get it, man.
You're fucking normal. That's why.
Yeah, right.
That's why he doesn't exist. I'm
It's a
telling you.
manipulation thing, right? It's like, well, if I'm with someone who's 16, I can mold them into whatever I want.
Grown men, yeah, and all that stuff.
It's a
I mean, no,
power.
he does it right. Like a lot of men are socially awkward. Like a lot more men than you think are socially awkward, and it's not just overall, but like specifically with women. Like they are just super awkward. Like, could you understand that women do have the power? Like I know the whole red pill stuff is pretty much out the window on YouTube, but there were some truths to what some of them were saying. Like that women hold the power to sex, and we hold the power to relationships, and that's always how it's been. And a lot of dudes just are not getting sex, and it's because again we just have no game. We're just socially awkward around them. So when you get up to that status, you're socially awkward growing up. You get up to that status, and now everybody knows you, and you're just going to latch on to anybody who gives you any sort of attention. And just unfortunately, it's the impressionable girl. They'll be the ones that'll reach out to you first. And I don't know why. Again, just in your mind as an adult male, you're just not like, hey, stop. Like, I don't care what's going on. But again, just the horny or something else just takes over, and you're just like,
horny.
whatever. I'm just going to shoot my shot because I